Alrighty. Well,
announcement.
we didn't do video, so let's get started if we can, if you'd like. Answer some questions here. Most architects are smart enough to make more money doing something else. Yes, they are. However, they don't like doing anything else. They like doing architecture. It's because it's a lot of fun and it's very, very challenging. If you like the challenges, it is a profession for you. If you don't, it's a whole lot of exercise. And so when I was in high school, a senior architect in my hometown said, "Kevin, why do you want to be an architect?" And I told him, well, I was good in math and good in art, and figured that would be a good thing for me. And he responded with, well, if anybody can talk you out of being an architect, let them. Because otherwise it's just too much exercise. And so that was advice I was given 50 years ago. And it was good advice. But the thing is, if you have the aptitudes to be a good architect, really, there's very little else that's going to make you happy. Whereas a lot of my friends, and I have 4 brothers, they all make way more money than I do. But right, I agree with Rogue Designer. We do it because we love it. I'm happy. I love doing what I'm doing. I'm 69 and I have no intention of retiring. And I'm keeping up with technology. You'll see freehand drawings tonight, but I'll also show you some examples of some 3D CAD work that we do for other projects. And it's just, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy meeting with clients, meeting with new couples, and solving their problems for their house, either a new house or a renovation. So, you see, welcome 405 Solo, welcome LZ Pierto, great. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's in the humid Gulf South, so please, let me know where you're from. Texas, I love building custom homes, but I've only known 2 great architects. Well, tell me who they were, and I will share with you experiences. Hopefully I've met them as well. All right, welcome Jennifer, welcome Shy Boy, welcome John. Where are you guys from? Okay, Bakersfield, California. That's excellent, excellent. Love the weather. Palm Springs, wonderful city. T.H. Tibbetts, great, welcome, welcome. Where did I study? I did my undergraduate at Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, and I did my graduate work at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and then moved back to Louisiana. Overland Park, Kansas, welcome, welcome. A little bit cooler up in Kansas than Baton Rouge, but winter is here and Christmas is right around the corner. See, you do MEP design and live especially when I work with an architect that keeps in mind with all our systems. Yes, keeps in line. Well, we constantly update. We're in January, we're going to update our ArchiCAD, which is our BIM program for version 27 is out. And we do that once a year, usually at the beginning of the year. From Vancouver, welcome, welcome. Colorado, welcome. Welcome, welcome, Colorado, welcome. Okay, hello from Covington, Louisiana. Well, welcome Covington. I'm going to Covington on Wednesday. We're doing a new house there on 16th Street. We haven't started yet, but Covington, I love the town. And this coming spring, the Institute for Classical Architecture and Art is hosting a foray. It's a 3-day weekend where we tour the wonderful architecture of a city, and this spring it's going to be in Covington. And we just heard today that the mayor is actually going to give a walking tour of downtown Covington. So your wonderful mayor is going to help us out with that and participate. So I hope to see you, user 10, and a long string of numbers, anyway, from Covington. Okay, Marcy, welcome. Let me see. Buck J. Green and Flynn Architects in Houston.
You don't know.
Nope,
She was offering names of architects.
2 names, okay.
Go check them out.
I'll check them out. There's some wonderful architects in Houston. Absolutely. Another one from Texas, wonderful. Covington, Kentucky. I think it's Covington, Louisiana is that's where our foray is. Old Joe, welcome to TikTok Live. This is Kevin Harris, architect. I'm Architect Talk on TikTok, and this is a Fix the Floor Plan Live segment where I will take an existing house. This is a floor plan of an existing house. I will analyze it, and then I will walk you through my recommendations for renovating this particular house. And in this case, we needed to add on to the house, and so I'll give you a little background of that before. So, just curious, why I did the doors that way. All right, the doors, well, I just show the swinging of the doors. And I didn't. This is actually an existing plan. So this is trying to show exactly what is there. The doors, I show the length of the door and then the swing of the door. These 2 open in, this opens in, this opens out, etc. So, and that's what these are symbols. It's essentially a floor plan is a cartoon of what the house would look like if you sliced it off, say, 3 feet above the ground. And these symbols here, this shows the window, the glass in the center, and then the sill on the inside, and the sill on the outside. This is the door, and that little line here shows that you step down a few inches to the patio from the door. Same thing here. And it's just a shorthand to make the drawings more legible and understandable. The X right here, that's for a return air duct going up into the attic in the air conditioning unit. This is the tub, this is the toilet, this is the lavatory, and that's a linen cabinet. The dotted lines here in this plan represent hanging space in the closets. So welcome, Steve, Francisco. Let me know where you're from when you sign on, if you can. Welcome, Michelle. Oregon, wonderful. If there's anything you want to know about becoming an architect, ask the question. I'll be happy to answer it. I was discouraged to go into architecture. Do they still hand draw? Yes, they do hand draw. We also draw on computer, but I hand draw all the time. And well, not all the time, because some of the time I'm actually on the computer. So, Christy's from California, welcome. Nacogdoches, Texas, wonderful town. There's a sister town of Nacogdoches called Natchitoches in Louisiana, and there were 2 Indians. One was Nacogdoches and one was Natchitoches. Wonderful town, both of them actually. From California, Danuba, welcome. What kind of CAD do you use? I use ArchiCAD. And ArchiCAD is a program that's in 3D. It's a BIM program, BIM standing for Building Information Management, or Building Information Modeling. It's used for both. And it draws, when I draw this, it's called parametric modeling, but when I draw this wall, yes, I draw click, and it's a wall, but I already select before I draw the wall how tall it's going to be and what its materials are going to be, what its layers, if you will. And so it's very, very, very helpful. How many years of schooling do you have to have? Typically, you have to have, it depends how you choose to become an architect and get your college degree. Some universities have a 4-year and a 2-year program. So it's 4 years of undergraduate and then 2 years of master's, and you'll end up with a licensable degree. Other schools, you can go as a 5-year degree and get your bachelor's in architecture, and then which is a licensable degree, and then you can go to. Many schools have a graduate program that's typically 3 to 3.5 years max, and you come out with the same licensable degree. An advantage of that approach is you get your undergraduate education, anything you want, and a liberal education, and then you can go to a graduate school and get your master's in without architecture as an undergraduate. So let me see here. So why don't we see, what is a closet right in front of the middle front door? Right here, I'm going to get to that. That, believe it or not, is a laundry. It's a utility room, and it's in the wrong spot, absolutely, and you've got a good eye for that. Introduction, this is Kevin Harris. I'm with Architect Talk. It's my moniker for TikTok, and this is Fix the Floor Plan Live. Where I will take an existing floor plan and I will fix it. I will analyze what I think is wrong with it, just like I did with this is a real project with my client, and then I will make recommendations on how to fix it and then show you the whole process. So Wolf, good eye, you thought you spotted this bad closet, and it messes up this room completely. Especially with the front door being right here, you come into this stupid wall, which actually is a laundry. Come on, it doesn't need to be in the foyer in the living room. So, what are some new trends in residential architecture? I practice classical and traditional architecture is my specialty, and the new trends, they're constantly coming up, but I would say a new trend is materials that look and can be machined just like traditional materials, but they don't rot. They can't be eaten by bugs, and they don't require as much maintenance, if any maintenance. For example, Hardy Plank has a concrete board siding that looks identical to 1-inch cedar siding for a house. So you're going to do clapboard siding. And there are other materials that are composites that we use on exterior trim so that we don't have to worry, our clients don't have to worry about the materials rotting just a few years after they move in. So, okay, so as far as trends in new houses, you've got materials. A lot of wonderful materials are coming up. Now, there are a lot of experimental materials that I would shy away from, but there are a lot of good new materials. The use of butler's pantries has come back into favor. And instead of having a butler that uses a butler's pantry, it's the homeowner that uses a butler's pantry. And it's a wonderful place to store all the materials that would be in your kitchen, which is right here, out of sight. Another thing is to, well, let me see. You've got home offices are a big trend, and they're getting more and more common, especially since COVID. And home gyms are coming into favor more and more. So we should have a healthier and better fed America with all these new houses with these new features. Let me see, from Southwest Missouri. Well, thank you, Jeff. I love the shout out, and I hope to teach you some more tonight. And this is always fun for me. Is there any free software for CAD? Sure, you can go on Google and get SketchUp. That'll help you. I believe that's free, and it's a wonderful program. It'll show you 2D and 3D. You see, how tall should kitchens be in a window? How tall should windows be in a kitchen? It depends on the kitchen. They vary. There's no one size fits every house. It depends on the situation, your views, and then how tall your calendars are. See, how much math is involved, that's your weakness. John, math is, I use math all the time, but I love math. And I love art. I know at LSU, a lot of architects that are undergraduates that think they're terrible at math, they'll switch over to landscape architecture, and it's just as creative, and they have a wonderful time. But there's still a lot of math in landscape architecture. So maybe you just had some crummy math teachers. That would be my guess. So go for it. Go for it. Missing my normal seat for TT Live. Nessa. All right, Nessa. Welcome, welcome. Great to have you here. Nessa is in Florida. She's usually here helping me out with Liz, my wife. But Nessa, great in my family, and as far as I know. And I greatly appreciate good carpenters. I greatly appreciate them. So they're wonderful. And my work, I can draw it, but if I don't have good carpenters to make it happen, it won't happen. So thank you for your trade in being a carpenter. I appreciate it. Okay. Well, let me move on here. Get started with analyzing this particular house, if that's all right. Any more questions? I'll answer them as best I can as we go through it. But I take my eyes off of the screen and look at the what you're looking at without the comments while I'm drawing and analyzing. So here's an existing house in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's a 1950s house. It's built on a slab. Right? It was built a very traditional look. So there's columns in the front. There's a small veranda. And these are French doors. They're only 3 feet wide. So each of these little doors are only 18 inches wide. So you have to open both of them if you really want to go in. So that's give you an idea of scale. Now, this drawing is, to me, you can't tell on the screen, but it's an 1/8 inch scale. So the house is 44 feet wide. The porch is only 8 feet deep, right here. And the main part of the house is 30 feet deep. And then this is the owner's bedroom, or the primary bedroom. And it's 15 feet by 18 feet, okay? Give you an idea of a little bit of the scale here. So I'm a residential architect. That's my specialty. I do new houses and renovations. We're talking about a renovation tonight. And I've been licensed in architecture since 1982. So this particular house, built in the 1950s on a slab, it has, let me see, it's 1950s slab house. That's the foundation. The reason I say slab is it's not on piers. It's not elevated. There's no crawl space underneath it. In Louisiana, unlike the people online from South Carolina or Colorado or Ontario, welcome. However, you guys are very used to basements. We don't have basements in Louisiana. We can't have them because if we dig 3 feet down in the ground, it's water, it's wet. And so if you dig a swimming pool, it's wet before you get to the bottom of the hole. So we typically do not have basements in our part of the world. So we build houses on piers, which is like little legs with an open crawl space underneath, or we build it on a slab, which is typically just a few inches above the dirt. All right, let me see. So with this 1950s house, all right, it's on a slab, and it has salvage parts that were taken from original Creole houses in New Orleans that were torn down. So, for example, these doors are only 3 feet wide. I'll show you here, but they're salvaged from, an 18th century home. So they're beautiful home, beautiful doors. They're wonderful French doors, but they're salvage parts. These columns are new, but they match the typical columns that you'd find on a Creole home. Now, one of the issues here is the front porch is only 8 feet deep. All right, it's 8 feet from here to here. And the problem with an 8-foot front porch or any porch is it's not deep enough to put furniture in and walk around. It's just barely deep enough. If you put chairs or couches or a swing, you can put a swing here very comfortably. But if you're only 8 feet deep, it's really hard to both stay out of the rain and have your furniture here and walk around versus having to walk around out the porch. So my porch rules are typically make your porch, if you want to use a porch, make it at least 10 feet deep. 12 feet is better. 14 is superb because you can walk all around it, but it takes up a lot of space outside. In Louisiana and all along the Gulf Coast of the Gulf of Mexico, an outdoor space, we spend a lot of time outside. If we lived in Hawaii, we'd call this a lanai space. But in Louisiana, it's just a veranda. Or you can anglicize that word and just call it a porch. By the same token, this rear porch, which is the one that you would use and access before you go to the backyard, you can see from here it is only 4 feet deep. All right? So what good is a 4-foot deep porch? If you get a serious rainstorm, the rain is going to get you completely wet. Or if you have furniture out here, your chair will take up the entire porch. And so you have to leave the porch to go from this chair to this chair. It was a nice thought, but it was not well thought out, actually, as far as its use. So, next item. It's a 3-bedroom house. So we got bedroom number 1, bedroom number 2, and then the owner's suite, bedroom number 3. And that's fine, but we have a bathroom here for the owners, and a goofy closet for the owners right here. You have a storage room for outdoor lawn equipment and things of that nature. There is no garage on this piece of property. There's a kitchen, which is a sort of a U-shaped kitchen, but the pantry is 2 feet wide, made less than that by the thickness of the walls, and so you've got an 18-inch door going into the pantry from here, and you have to leave the kitchen to go to the pantry. You've got a glorious living room here, living room, dining room, except the laundry with the washer dryer here and here is bumped into the great room, and then there is no den. There's a breakfast room right here with a table, which is nice enough because it accesses the backyard. You get natural light, and it's next to the kitchen. But it's just an awkward way to live. There's no den, so you're either formal or you're playing cards at the table in the breakfast area. Here's a linen cabinet, and then here's bedroom number 1 has a nice closet. Bedroom right here. Bedroom number 2 also has a good closet. And then there's a linen cabinet in the hallway here for the bedrooms. This is the hallway for the bedrooms. So here's some other issues with this house, all right? The utility room, big one, is right here. It's carved out of the living room because this really should be a glorious rectangle. And it's a beautiful rectangle, but it's cut up, the corner's taken out of it. And so if you're going to have a rectangular room, keep it as a rectangular room. Don't bump out of it. These bedrooms, this bedroom does the same thing. It would be this lovely bedroom, but then they cut the closet out of it. This bedroom is as big as this one, except its closet is in the hallway space. All right, so the next item, the dining room, living room, this area is too small with this cutout. Plus, to make it, what do you do with this bump out? Well, let's just add bookcases here. That made it even smaller. And so where's the dining room? Well, the dining room table goes here for formal dining, and then here's your living room with, your couch and chairs watching the fireplace. It's not set up for a TV, although there is a TV, and they put one, above the fireplace, which I'm not a big fan of. You have what I call a destination floor plan. There's poor flow. As far as destination, I mean, let's say we're going to travel around this house. So you're going to come in the front door. That's fine. You're going to go to the kitchen. Well, you got to go around here into the kitchen. Boom, you're in the kitchen. Now you want to go to the dining room. You come back here, again, through one doorway. You want to go outside? You go through here, outside. You want to go to the bedrooms? You go to the bedroom. So this has pretty much like a Victorian era floor plan where it's one room, one activity, and there's no flow. There's no, if you're having a party and somebody decides to stand in this doorway, as wide as it is, it's a 4-foot wide opening, and they're talking with somebody else with their drinks, nobody can get through. So it's a very poor, the flow doesn't exist in this house, all right? The rear porch is only 4 feet deep. There's no workshop. The owner likes to have saws and things of that nature. And so we need to have a workshop. In a workshop, you need a room to hold the equipment, the table saw, drill press, and things like that. And then you also need a covered space that's bigger in order to build things when it comes time for that. And that's only a temporary use. Or you end up with a gymnasium that's rarely used except when you're building things. And the owner, the workshop is a hobby, it's not a business. There's no covered parking. So your cars just have to park here outside and then work your way to the back door. There's no covered outdoor living area. With our lanai type living in Louisiana, you want to have covered outdoor spaces, and you just have 4 feet here. That's not enough. Where are you going to put your barbecue? Where do you put your barbecue pit? And let's say it rains. Oh my goodness! And the barbecue pit, the owner keeps it here. But when they don't want the barbecue pit there, he's got to drag it across the yard and stuff it in this closet over here. So it's not very convenient. The primary closet in here, it's cramped. And then one of my pet peeves, the door size to the closet. This door is only 24 inches wide. In the owner's suite, you've got to squeeze through sideways to get through this door. Heaven help you if you age in this house, because if you're in a walker, you're not getting into the closet. Somebody else is going to have to get your clothes, or you have a stick that you can reach in and grab things. It doesn't work. When you have a house, it should be designed to be a forever home, so that a 3-foot door, typically for me, is the starting point for sizes for doors. And I suggest less than that, you're taking chances. Another problem, here's the guest bathroom right here, all right? And it's divided into, I understand the reasoning for it, or the rationale, but you want to have it to where the potty is separate from the lavatory, and so there's a wall with a door. Well, that door is barely 2 foot 6 inches wide. It's still not wide enough, but it just barely clears the toilet. So in order to imagine the gymnastics, you almost have to stand, or you have to stand between the toilet and the tub in order to open the door and in order to close the door. So you're doing this dance just like you're in we all accept the fact that we're in an airplane and we need to use the bathroom. Granted, we're not taking a shower there or a tub bath, but you do this dance to open the door, to get in, to close the door, do your business, wash your hands, and then get out, and it's a tiny minimal space compartment. I understand that, and I can accept that on boats. I can accept that in an airplane or on a train even, but not in my house. Come on, that's ridiculous. Another issue, so that's separating this into 2 rooms is a mistake, I think, and it makes it feel tiny. Everything is tiny and cramped and squeezed. Another issue is here's your linen cabinet in the bathroom, and if you open the door to the bathroom and the linen cabinet door is open, you whack the door. Or if you're let's say you're in the bathroom and you didn't lock the door and you go to get a towel in the linen cabinet and somebody barges into the bathroom, they whack your hand on the door. It's just a nightmare. And so the doors are always banged up, and I frown. That's something that really needs to be fixed and addressed. The laundry. Let's put the laundry somewhere in a better location. That's not a good one in my book. This closet's fine. These doors are glorious. I love them. So are these doors. But the kitchen. Here's your cooktop. Your refrigerator is right here. And then your oven is right here. And as far as the work triangle, that's workable, and that's quite convenient. However, it's, let's look at the scale. It's 8 feet from this wall or this counter to this counter. 8 feet. That's too far to both. I mean, it's too big because you're walking around a lot, but there's no place for your friends to stay or anybody to help you in the kitchen. It's too small to put an island in here because you really need 4 feet. I recommend 4 feet of space between the counter and an island. But if you have this item over here, this peninsula, which is counter space and storage as well, that's 4 feet because this is only 8 feet. So you'd have, take a door and put it on its side. That's all you have room for. So just to recap quickly, I'm Kevin Harris with Architect Talk. This is Fix the Floor Plan Live. I'm discussing a 1950s slab house in Baton Rouge that the owner wants to have a workshop and improve the floor plan and also have covered parking. Covered parking and an outdoor entertainment space. Covered space. All right? And one thing I didn't mention so far, the site is limited. It's a tight site. Tight lot, okay? And it's a tight lot because of the where the property lines are and how much room you have or don't have to build in addition. So I am looking for, here we go, the site plan. So here's the site plan of the house, and here's the property line. This is the street. It faces the street, and with zoning, which I covered last Monday, we've got a 30-foot front yard facing the street. The street is actually way over here, so it looks like a giant front yard, but you can't build past this dotted line. There's a side street here. However, the side street was never developed by the developer, and the city has no plans of developing it, but the city owns it. And so, since it's a right-of-way, the owner has the right to put their driveway, instead of going this way, from the street totally on their property, they can have their driveway go on the right-of-way and then come in from the side. Now, this line here on this property is a side yard that was given as 15 feet as a building line because they were anticipating this street being developed. Since it's not being, now the people on this side of the block, down the street, they have a 15-foot setback along this particular street. It's never been developed. It won't be developed here, however. And so what you see shaded in was I wanted to add a garage or a covered area, a carport garage, for the owner to have parked cars. But if this is the dotted line, the garage would have to move over and you'd have no courtyard. You just block off all the views to the house. And so what we did is we applied for a variance from the city with the zoning in order to change the setback from 15 feet to just 8 feet. Because on this side, there's an 8-foot setback that is by zoning code. And I said, well, since this is a side yard and 8 feet's okay, why don't we make this side, please let us make this side 8 feet, and that would give us a little more room to add what ended up being, a den, because the house doesn't have a den, a workshop, and a garage. And so it was approved. So let's take a little break here before let me add workshop, outdoor covered area, covered parking, and a den. So these are the things that the owner wanted to add as far as their lifestyle. So just let me take a little break and I'm going to answer some questions. So what's the site look like? It's like most subdivision sites. It's got grass all around the house. It has some, it's an older subdivision, so it has some major live oak trees, which is beautiful. And it is lovely, but it's completely open. Let me see. Your architect left you room for a 30-inch wide refrigerator. Well, they make refrigerators even as narrow as 18 inches. So it depends. It's always a compromise on how much space you want to have for your refrigerator. Sub-Zero makes refrigerators that are even up to 42 inches wide, which is really wide and lovely. They make freezers the same width, but they also make them down to 18 inches. So the narrow ones don't hold as much, certainly, but that may be what you're stuck with. Now, a lot of houses, they'll have in their laundry room, if they have space, they'll have a spare freezer or a spare refrigerator because of it wasn't planned for at the beginning. So if you can make space for a wider refrigerator, then it would be nice. Certainly. A single story, want to keep it a single story. Yes, this is a single story. If I make this a 2-story house, I lose some footprint here because I have to have a stairway, and that takes up quite a bit of land. You're the land surveyor drawing this in AutoCAD. I work with surveyors in AutoCAD. I had mentioned I was doing a project in Covington, Louisiana, and the surveyor is using AutoCAD. And so I took my drawings, sent them to him, and he's going to, we need to locate the house on the property, and the surveyor is going to do that. So I sent him, my plans, and then he's going to take it, and I put it in AutoCAD format so that he can go out there and Wednesday we're going to go look at it and see the house staked out, and so we'll know which trees we're going to have to take out. Okay. See, AI is taking over architecture. No, I'm not worried about it, and it's AI. At the very least, it'll be a help for architects. It'll help you with a lot of things, but AI doesn't begin to have the experience that a lifetime of practicing architecture will give you. And it can give you layouts. It'll answer only the questions you ask it. So garbage in, garbage out. But you have to know which questions to ask. And it's a good, I'm not against AI. And when I started architecture, I was drawing freehand like this, okay? And on granted, more expensive paper than the yellow trace, but it was still on paper. And then CAD came out and it was like, oh my God, CAD's going to take over. And, architects would say, oh, we did this in CAD. Ugly is ugly. And it doesn't matter if it's drawn on CAD or drawn freehand or drawn in BIM today or AI. If it's not ugly, it's not ugly. And I'm not afraid of AI taking over my job anytime soon, and actually ever, because architecture is so varied, there's so much variety, and AI has certainly lots of sources to go to reference things, but how can AI make the decisions to do something quirky because it looks cool? Cool is not an AI thing. So anyway, it's a good question, though. AI is a great tool to leverage what we already do and to make some things, especially research. I'd love AI to answer my questions on code research, for example. Because the building codes, if you've ever dealt with them, they disagree with each other. They contradict. And so it's difficult to sort of ferret through there until you get both sides of the different codes that you have to follow, and then go talk to the building officials. Say, all right, give me a ruling. So you see, I just build it and let the city worry about later if they actually found out. Well,
You asked, you get a variance.
you can get a variance. And when I got my graduate degree, my thesis actually was on zoning. And many of the cases on zoning have already gone through the Supreme Court, all the way to the top court of the United States. And zoning is an extension of the police power. And if you build something, let's say you build it and the city finds out, the city, please know in advance, the city has a right to say, tear it down. And you have no choice. Let me see, the city of Mandeville, Louisiana, they have one part of their zoning code is, I think, a 35-foot height restriction for residential houses. And you can go see a house today that has a roof that, here's the ground.
Here's the paper.
Let me see, let me draw right here. Here you go. Here's the ground. Here's the walls. It's a 2-story house. And then the roof does this. The roof used to do this. That's 35 feet. And the owner built it without a permit, and the city made him tear that off. And you can see it today. I wish I had a picture to show you, but the zoning rules have been proven or held up by the U.S. Supreme Court, so you got to respect them. And everybody's playing, we're in a country of laws, and it's not just our country, it's other countries, many that you have to follow. So I would very much, what is it, in politics they say sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. Zoning is one of those things where you better ask permission, otherwise, unless you're willing to risk tearing it down again, or building it twice. Can you build upward? Yes, you can build upward here, and the zoning allows you to go up. But in order to build up, you have to have a stairway, and that's going to take valuable square footage. And how do you do that? Because one of the things precious to the owner was his front look with the Creole cottage of the 3 salvaged doors from a Creole cottage that was demolished in New Orleans, and then the front porch of the columns. So you need to open the main floor up a little bit. That's a good point, and yes, I agree with you. It's a frame house. Yes, it's a wood frame. Correct, Joshua. You beat me to it. You lose room with the stairs. Built-in cabinets, fronting dishwashers are nice. Yes, they are. You could hide A lot of appliances are set up to where you can put a cabinet front on them so they blend in with your cabinetry. So the refrigerator doesn't stand out as this big behemoth like an automobile parked in your kitchen. It can actually be a cabinet and blend in with the front. Same thing with dishwashers, same thing with ice makers. So keep that in mind. If you wanted a job, what's the most useful software to know? Well, in my office, it's ArchiCAD. You have to learn ArchiCAD before I'll even talk to you. But it's, I'll write it down. But know your market. Know who you think you'd like to work with, and what software do they use. AutoCAD is a very common program that a lot of people use. Let me see. You're a superintendent out in California. You deal with a lot of structural and architectural items. Well, Chris, thank you for doing that. Hopefully, you're keeping the building safe and the general public safe with your work. I appreciate that. AI can't take over human thought. Creation can't be better than the creator. I agree, 100%, Joshua. Good point. Do you only use AutoCAD or other programs? I don't use AutoCAD. I use ArchiCAD. And I'll show you, here's an iPad. Well, so here's a project I have in Baton Rouge, and here's the floor plan. We drew this is the site. We drew this in ArchiCAD, and with ArchiCAD, it comes with an attachment that's BIMX, B-I-M-X, and it allows me to give the drawings. Since I draw it in 3 dimensions, I can share it with the owner, the contractor, and the subcontractors in 3D. So I show this to the owner, and it's like the drawing underneath, you can see. But here's, you come up, it's on a hill, so it's a house. Or we can put the roof on it, and you can see that this is a very traditional house. Let me get rid of this. It's a very traditional house, but it's contemporary in many ways. We've got solar panels on the roof, but you cannot see them from below as you enter it. This house is not the one I'm talking about tonight fixing. This is a much bigger house that wraps around a mature live oak tree. It has a this project is in the house that actually has that particular detail. Let me see, for example, here's in the library. See this cabinet here in the library with the column next to it? If I do this, you can see it shows you where that drawing is. Let me get rid of the drawing. Whoop. Here's the room, okay? And what I find is that not only do my clients understand what it is we're proposing for them when we use this program, the contractors understand what they're pricing and what they have to build, and the cabinet makers understand the details of what we're doing. This, for example, there's a rod here for a rolling ladder in the library. So CAD is very, and go from there. Okay, a lot of the industry is trying to push for Revit for the ease of coordination. I agree. Revit is, from my point of view, Revit attempts to do what ArchiCAD already does. And I think ArchiCAD does it better. It's just that Revit is really a derivative of AutoCAD, and it's a very more common program. But I can export and communicate my drawings to subcontractors or say engineers, if I use engineers on a project, and our surveyors, as I do use. who are in AutoCAD. So anyway, I export them and I can import them as well. And so it all works. Do you still use AIA G703 for billing? We do. We use the whole suite of the ones that are relative to what we're trying to do, but I'm a big proponent of using AIA contract. And as far as residential, a few years ago, or just 2 years ago, the AIA came out with their a new set of contracts for custom residential architecture. Who's whispering? My wife is whispering. She's keeping up with the questions and trying to point out certain questions that she thinks I should answer, and she's very attentive to you. However, she's watching the screen and not the drawing. So, but anyway, I'm trying to do both. Attorney. So, but she helps run my office, or runs my office. So, do you use basic code compliant HVAC or ever go more efficient? I give that to the clients as an option. It's going to be the exact same layout typically. For the we use typically split systems, but the more efficient you get, it's the higher the initial cost, and sometimes the owners go for that, sometimes they don't. So it's always an option. I do encourage, for example, the walls. I'm very much into passive solar controls. Shade your windows if you can. If this is south, put a porch and shade those windows. That's far more effective in my part of the world than double pane glass. Just shade it, because we're worried more about heat gain than heat loss. My viewer from Canada, in the wintertime, it's heat loss. When I was in graduate school, I had a classmate that was from Montreal, and I went to and toured old Montreal with him, and it was some glorious architecture. And they had the earliest double pane windows I've ever seen, and they're from the 18th century, and there were essentially two sets of windows, one on the inside and one on the outside. Now, granted, they had masonry construction, so very thick walls, so 2 or 3 feet thick, so there was space for it. But you could open up the windows on the inside, clean them, clean the outside windows, and then close them all up. And in the wintertime, you've got this space and double insulated glass, or you can open all of them up and get breezes coming through. So it's wonderful. Am I NCARB? Yes, I am an NCARB. And NCARB is the National Council for Architectural Registration Boards. And when you get your license as an architect, if you register with NCARB, when you get a project, or if you want to get projects in a different state, NCARB is the vehicle to get reciprocity and to, get licensed in other states. So it's a good thing. Quick question, I got Revit certified in high school. Will I use Revit in construction management? Yes, you will. Yes, you will. And you'll be far more effective at it than just looking at 2D plans all the time. So as a recap, this is Kevin Harris. I'm doing Architect Talk Fix the Floor Plan Live. Tonight, we've analyzed a house on a tight lot. We had to get a zoning variance so we could add on a garage and a den. It's a 1950s house built on a slab. The owner wanted a workshop, covered parking, an outdoor covered space for entertaining and outdoor living, and then a den. So let's talk about now how I and go back to the original plan as it is, or as it was. So here we go. So the solution, what to do to, let me see. Looks like it's frozen. I'm frozen here. Here we go. Unfrozen. Great. Let me go to the side. All right. So it's a 1950s slab house. I need a workshop, covered parking, outdoor covered entertaining space, and a den. So with the house, here we go. The first thing we're going to do is take my demolition tape, which is white out. And incidentally, white out, this is a right-handed tool. I'm left-handed, so bear with me as I rustle through this. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the utility room, which is right here, from the living room den. So we'll try removing that. Let me see. Here we go. We'll get rid of these walls. They're not structural, by the way. Try another one. Here we go. This is working better. Somewhere, but let's get it out of here. And what this gives me is this glorious room, which was well designed in the first place before they added or cut it up with the laundry room. And here is your living room, dining room. Beautiful. Nice proportions in it. It's a lovely space. So the next thing we're going to do is remove the kitchen. This U-shaped kitchen is too big and too small. It's 8 feet from counter to counter, which is too big to walk around. You'll get your exercise for sure. Wear tennis shoes to help you with it. So let's remove the kitchen. So do that. And then I'm going to relocate the closet in the front bedroom, right? Which is right here. And what we're going to do is, so let's get rid of this closet here. And then what we're going to do is, let me see, what else? We're going to remodel the guest bathroom right here. So I'll zap this. And notice that the bathroom also does not have a window. It's just a dark cave. Even though it's got an exterior wall, there's no windows here. And there's no windows on this side of this bedroom. So this bedroom, after I remove the closet that was in the corner, it measures almost 18 feet deep. That's huge for a bedroom. So, let me see, got some questions. Is it structural or are they called load-bearing? They're not load-bearing. The way this house is this wall down the center is load-bearing. And this wall in the bathroom is load-bearing, but the others are not. They're just partitions. So I would just call them partitions. So we're going to remodel this guest bathroom. I still need to put the laundry in someplace. And then, let me see. With the guest bathroom, and I'll work my way this way in the house with the suggested renovations. So if I put a doorway here, coming in to the bedroom from the hallway still, all right? And take the closet that was just a 6-foot closet and then go all the way across like so. This is hanging. And put bifold doors here and here. And so I still have this glorious bed. The door was purposefully located relative to the bedroom versus just only located from the exterior. And then it's a better use of the space, I think. Then let's go into the bathroom. And let's start with the bathroom. It's two bedrooms are going to be sharing this bathroom, plus its guest. So I would recommend the tub, add a window in this bathroom to seal that window with tile, and so which is not wide enough really for a comfortable bath for most people, or for many people, myself being one. And so I recommend a 3-foot wide tub. So it's still 5 feet long, but it's 3 feet wide, which gives it also deep enough. So what I like to say, you can get your knees wet in the tub, and you don't have to contort yourself in order to flip over, go on your side, or to rinse the soap off your left shoulder or your left armpit. And it's all those machinations in a tub, which are terrible. And because of that, most people prefer taking a shower. But if you have a tub like Winston Churchill, I love a good tub, but prefer taking a shower. But if you have a tub like Winston Churchill, I love a good tub, but one that's wide enough and deep enough to get my knees wet and to sort of enjoy and immerse in a bath. Next to the tub, we'll put the toilet. The wall that used to be here goes away. We're not going to put it back. And then this space here, we're going to add a counter all the way to the hallway wall. The door is the room serving this bathroom. Put a lavatory here and a lavatory here. And then in the middle, have a shallow cabinet, which is deep enough for towels and hair dryers and things of that nature, but that becomes your linen cabinet in between the two lavatories. And you've got a window, so you open the door and it's a bright room, the two lavatories. And you've got a window, so you open the door and it's a bright room. You can have a shower curtain, or you can just have it as a tub. Or if you want a shower, then you've got plenty of space to put glass doors and make that a shower and just a walk-in shower. So that takes care of these two rooms. Let me see. This bedroom is fine, just like it is. Just because we're renovating doesn't mean we have to renovate everything, because every time you renovate something, there's dollar signs. And so we try and limit that as much as we can. Okay, so if we relocate this is a return air grill, and I moved it to the ceiling versus using the entire wall space here. And then, let me see. There we go. I'm going to change access to the to the bedroom hall from the hall. So we'll add a cased opening here. And a cased opening is a doorway with no door in it. The door that was to the owner's suite, we're going to fill in, and I'll discuss how we get in there in the future in just a minute. These are partitions. So what I would really like to do is get rid of this wall, which is also a partition, completely, as well as the door there. The new hallway wall would be. So you enter the bedroom hall from here. So you guest bathroom, bedroom number 1, bedroom number 2, and then the owner's suite would still be here. And then take the laundry that was here, and I'm going to move it to over here. Got plenty of room here for washer, dryer, and a sink. And then the doors, what I decided to do here is I stopped the counter on both sides a few inches shy of the wall, so that these doors, we'd have bifold doors that you see in the hallway. If the doors are open, it blocks the hallway. But these doors, when you open them, then they slide in, much like cabinets, like armoire cabinets, so the door actually slides in, so it's not in the hallway. And so you can stand in a widened hallway for that. An opening from the living room, dining room area to the kitchen area. And then another opening over here. Open one up, so that we now have a flow going for whatever this room is. This is going to be the kitchen. And so what I'm recommending is taking this wall and putting a counter all the way across with overhead cabinets on either side and put the cooktop right here. There we go, and it'll have a vent that goes up through the roof. Come over 4 feet, and for the same distance, all right, we've got an island. And this island is enormous. It's 5 feet deep. And so by being 5 feet deep, it allows you to have 2 sets of cabinets, one that faces the cooktop, and then one that's underneath where the niche space is. And so you've got extra storage underneath it. And then for the top, I raised the top where the island, or where the bar stools are, is higher. It's 3 foot 6 inches higher. It's 6 inches higher than this countertop. And on this countertop, I put the kitchen sink right here. And so you've got all this workspace, you've got a buffet table on top, and then you've got bar stools. Got room for a manifold pantry. And a manifold pantry is one where there's a wall in the center of it. On the back, there's a deep cabinet for a door here and a door here. On both sides of the door are cans. So you open up one door at a time, and you can see, you can store up a month's worth of food or more in this pantry. It's a manifold pantry. There's no wasted space. They're very, very efficient. And then the remaining space is set up for 2 large appliances with cabinet fronts. One is a freezer, and one is a refrigerator. And so the refrigerator is accessible to the dining room, living room, as well as the kitchen. And the kitchen is accessible to everything else. Now, where this wall is, this is a bit cramped here. Agreed. So what I suggest, and also this porch is too small. It's only 4 feet deep. And the third thing is I can't get to this bedroom here without going outside. So what we did is we took this wall out. Now that's a bearing wall, which someone had commented, is that bearing or not? And yes, the answer is it's a bearing wall. So that's a bearing wall, which someone had commented, is that bearing or not? And yes, the answer is it's a bearing wall. So in order to take, I either put in a beam, which we did, but I ought to make it less expensive, the smaller the span is for a beam, and the beam comes across, like so. And while I was taking walls out, I went ahead and took this wall out while we're adding beams, and I added a beam across here. Underneath these beams were walls, and so there's a deep concrete footing to support the loads of these columns as well as this column on the corner. Then to give, let's move into the master, well, we'll move into the den. To add a den, we added, let's see, 17 feet, so, which is a big den. It's lovely. We came way over to here and added a den. And this is not wide enough really for the den, so we made the den a little bit wider and came in here, like so. So here's our den, and we put a bay on the den for a card table, which is right here. And there's, column here, and glass the den for a card table, which is right here. And there's, column here, and glass. I just barely hit this corner. So that's why we had it drawn this way. Then on this wall, we put cabinets. So you need storage in your den. Same thing on this end. We added windows here and a small sink. And this is the wet bar, or the beverage center, if you will. For adults, it's a bar. For kids, it's snacks, a microwave, and it's just right there in the den. So you can have the activities in the living room here with, nice big chair, coffee table, couch, like so. And then on this end, you've got a buffet, got commodes on the end for storage, and then here's the lovely dining room table. Right? And so we've got a much more open and usable living room, and so we've got a much more open and usable living room, dining room combination that's connected with circulation to the kitchen. And then also to the den is very close to it. So a cathedral ceiling right here. So here's this dotted line is not a beam, it's the ridge of the roof that goes from here to here. All right? Then let me see. Then this wall is a solid wall, and it's where we put the big television right here. We've got a couch, big couch, a map table, which is like a square giant coffee table. It's got storage in it as well, or you can sit on it. And then enough room for 4 chairs next to the couch. They can all watch the TV. So this all flows back with the kitchen. If you've got underneath the counter here in the beverage center, you've got an under-counter refrigerator. As the kids got older, the owners could swap that out for a wine fridge or just store wine in there versus soft drinks. Anyway, now that we have this area, we need to be able to, and what I did with so we're going to add a part of the additions for the house was a workroom for the owner. So we don't need the storage room here if we're going to have a workroom. This would be goofy if it had a bite taken out of this big square. But this bathroom it's only 5 feet wide for the owner's suite and or the primary suite for the house. And this closet is a little bit ridiculous. And so as we had in the budget, we're going to redo this whole bathroom. So let's wipe this out and give it more elbow room, more grace for living here, all right? And then this back wall, we're going to remove a piece of it to give a view to the backyard, which is lovely, versus just looking at a blank wall. And then this one window that was in the house, looking at the backyard. So what I decided to do and recommend, and what we ended up with, was taking at least 8 feet of this bedroom, which came to here, and then we have a little bump out of glass, just like the bump out over here, a little bay. And in this bay, there's enough room for 2 lovely chairs. And on the outside, there's also curtains that'll close all this up at night if you want. Along this wall, we put the bed, and it's a king-size bed, so you got to have room for it with side tables on lampstands on either side of the bed. And then we put it's wide enough to put a long bench, which is also used for storage or sitting, put on your shoes. And then opposite the bed, there's a large dresser, or actually it's an armoire, which has a TV in it, and then here. And that left me also 2 feet space across here. The owner is an avid hunter, and he needed extra closet space for his hunting gear. And so there was plenty of space here. He also wanted to have a desk in his bedroom. So right here is a desk that slides up under the desktop, and there's a bookcase above it. And in this space here, we made into 2 closets with bifold doors. And that's where his hunting gear and other stuff, extra stuff, is stored. He only needed 1 of them, but we've got 2. So there's the counter here, and we put 2 lavatories, not 1, but 2 lavatories for his and her. And then the linen cabinet is similar to the linen cabinet in the guest bathroom. It's halfway in between. And we added a wall here and here for the tub. And we need a wall for plumbing and the shower and all that good stuff. So here's the tub and the shower. And bring this wall over. And then to give visual privacy, the potty is located right here against this wall. And then there's a window we added right here across from the tub. So you've got a very well-lit bathroom. Then the space in the rear we made into a much larger closet for the owner's closet, his and her. And then we put a pocket door so we don't have to worry about taking up good floor space with where do you put the door when it's open or closed. And so, and then right here, we do have a swing door to come into the bathroom, and that door bumps up against the wall, which is actually for the tub. All right, then we've got this outdoor, or not outdoor, it's still indoor, but sort of a sunroom area where it's a sort of, essentially they use it as a second den. And then we've got, coming back here, and with this being the lot line, we could bring this line, if we bring it over a little bit more, you can see a workroom. So here's a workroom with cabinets on either side. We've got windows here to look out to what was the undeveloped street. And then we put a garage door here, or an overhead door, so that he can open this up and it'll expand into this space. And this space had to be deeper to fit cars in it. And so here is our 2-car garage entertainment space. It's covered. So what we decided to do is we made this a carport, but we made it as if it were just an outdoor room for parking. And then here's our sort of our sunroom with wicker furniture, and you get to see the backyard. There's doors here. We put shutters here, and these are louvers that are hung from a beam on the ceiling, and there's little latches that keep the driveway. And take these louvers, and you simply relocate them over here. And when people come in for the party, this is a great big open space that opens to the backyard in transition. So let me take a quick break and answer some questions here. So as a recap, this is Kevin Harris with Architect Talk Lab that had some issues. The owners needed a workshop, covered parking, outdoor covered space, a den, and it had a compromised owner's suite for the bathroom. It had a laundry room in the middle of the den, and it had a dysfunctional kitchen. But it needed more space. This wasn't an apartment, this was a house. And so the owners needed to make it bigger. So let me look at some questions and see where we are. Let me see, it looks good on paper until the trade guys have to work on it. I always try. My whole process of pricing a house is we draw it to schematics. We meet with that contractor and we begin negotiations. So it's a modified design build process. I don't want to be a builder, but I want to have the benefits of the information on how much things are likely to cost before we do all our detailed drawings. And so I meet with the contractor that the owner selected as well as the 4 major subcontractors, being the framer, contractor, and we go over the 3D model we have of the house and the plans, and we have agendas for it. All of this to say what type of wood we're using, how thick the walls are, what is the insulation, what type of air conditioning system are we going to use, meetings with the subs, timid, and they finally said, well, the only time I'm in an architect's office is when I'm in trouble. And it's like, you're not in trouble here. Come on in. We're going to fix this, and we're going to work this out so that you can make money from the drawings I do. And so you need to tell me which extra drawings you need, which areas you're not thoroughly understanding what it is you're pricing. And they price it twice. The first time they price it, I have preliminary drawings. They're just schematics. It's 3D. The owners know exactly what's going to be there. They know how many plumbing fixtures and that sort of thing, but the details aren't there. We discuss the process of the sort of details that I would expect and that I'm going to look for. They price it. When the owner approves the price, then and only then do I begin doing the final drawings. When I do the final drawings, I take into account and incorporate all of the things we discussed with the subs during those meetings and make sure they're there. If they're not there, we note it, but then we have a full set of, for example, a renovation that we just put the drawings out last week for final pricing, the second set of pricing. We had 54 sheets of paper, and they're 24 by 36 inches. Lots and lots of detail, because the subs need that detail to understand on a custom house how things are going to be done. How am I going to frame? It's easy for me to say on TikTok, well, I'm going to remove this wall and remove this wall, and we're going to put in 2 columns and a beam. Well, there are at least 6,000 ways to incorporate that beam and the columns in this room, and how are you going to frame the roof that comes to it. 6,000 ways to incorporate that beam and the columns in this room, and how are you going to frame the roof that comes to it. There'll be beautiful drawings that we do. However, I don't do the drawings to be beautiful drawings. I do these drawings so that the subs, the carpenters, the plumbers, the electrician, the framer can make money. And how do they make money? When they're at their shop and they go over for the day's work, this is what we want you guys to do on the construction site. Here's the drawings, here's the 3D of it. Any questions? No, go for it. They've already seen it in virtual reality, which is what BIMX allows me to do. So, what is the size of the den? Well, the den is counting the bay, and it is 16 feet, or really 18 feet in this direction, but I took 2 feet out for cabinets and storage. So, how do I identify load-bearing walls? Well, an architect is trained in structure and how things are built, but one of the things I'll do when I walk into a house is I'm not sure how they built it, so I'll go up into the attic and look at it. And where you see in the attic, you can see very quickly that the ceiling joist came from this front wall to this middle wall, and then another joist next to it went from this wall to this wall. And so that told me this was a load-bearing wall. Same thing with this wall in the bathroom. All these other walls that I removed over. So, architect, they're the ones that the floor roof joists rest on them. Yes, that's correct. They're load-bearing because they're supporting the ceiling, maybe the second floor, and for sure the roof. So, and that's load-bearing. So, all right, so here is the messy plan, and then here is the finished freehand plan. All right, so to show you the house. So the house went from, let me see, from the existing house right here, where it had an 8-foot front porch, which we left alone. It had 3 glorious architecturally salvaged pairs of French doors from Creole House in New Orleans. And then it had only a 4-foot back porch, which was unusable. It had problems with the owner's suite, the bathroom. The closet had only a 2-foot door into the owner's closet. This was a storage room for lawnmower equipment and yard equipment, but the backyard is huge, and there was no view from the owner's suite to the backyard, which is the best view. It had 3 bedrooms, 1, 2, 3. The guest bathroom was cut in half by this wall and a silly door that just barely cleared the toilet, so you had to dance between the tub and the toilet to open or leave that space. And then the linen cabinet is right next to the door, so when you open the linen cabinet, it bangs into the door of the coming into the bathroom. And then the worst thing was this glorious living room, dining room, was chopped off or chopped up by putting a laundry utility room right here smack in the middle of the house. Sure, it's convenient to the bedrooms, but you could make it convenient by moving it. So I took the laundry room and slid it down. I added on a sunroom to the back, redid the kitchen, added a den over here, which did not exist, added a workroom for the owner, and so this closet was no longer needed. Added that space to the owner's suite, and then widened this whole space here as the bathroom and closet from the owner's suite to there, and then added storage in the owner's suite. And then we added a big covered outdoor area for a carport that doubled by simply moving shutters from one side to the other. It doubled as a giant outdoor 24-foot by 24-foot outdoor living area covered with ceiling fans in it, and we had ceiling can lights. And so it's just a beautiful party space. So here's the final plan, and that's the solution. So another few questions, and then I'll wrap up. So questions and answers, please. What will the new roof plan look like? It's a gable here with a lean-to for this addition here, and this is a sort of an L-shaped gable. It's a series of gables. All right. Well, architect, thank you for loving the proposed design. I appreciate it. The owners love it too, and the kids are growing up in this one, so it's wonderful. I do usually the TikTok Lives on Monday. However, we got Christmas coming up, so I'm going to take off next week. So give me a couple of weeks, and we'll have another one for you. The owner's construction budget is between the owner and me. So we don't share that type of information. But construction prices go up constantly. So if you can afford it, build as much as you could possibly afford today, because it's going to be worth more in the future. Okay, happy holidays. Yes, happy holidays to you. Our next TikTok Live will be January 8th at 6:30. Or I'm sorry, at 6 p.m. Let me see. I do this on the regular. So Rachel, I look forward to seeing you in the future. Grant, you just joined, but I'm just in time to leave. So please show up January 8th at 6 p.m. Central Time for the next version of TikTok Live. This is Kevin Harris, Architect Talk, Fix the Floor Plan Live. So here we go, I'm out. And happy holidays to everyone.